Thank you, Madam Chair. It's my first time doing a presentation here, so I'm not sure exactly where to be. But so earlier,
you have summer, 2 minutes.
It'll be shorter than that. Earlier this summer, we heard from District Attorney Anne Marie Schubert about the fentanyl epidemic in Sacramento County. And my prior service in the Highway Patrol, I saw firsthand the impacts of opioid addiction and overdoses, and I know this is an issue that's very important to several of my colleagues on the board here. In Sacramento County alone, in a year-and-a-half period, we saw 140 deaths caused by fentanyl poisoning, not to mention numerous near deaths that go unrecorded in our current statistics. This is on top of thousands of opioid and methamphetamine overdoses in the state of California. And so based on that, District Attorney Schubert has now collaborated with our Department of Health Services, and our health officer, Siobhan Katari, is here and is collaborating with the DA's office for public service announcements to educate the public about the dangers of fentanyl and how so many counterfeit pills include fentanyl, which are deadly to people who don't realize what they're ingesting. And so here today to talk a little bit about, just briefly, about the public service announcements and efforts to get more naloxone out into the community is Thien from the Sacramento County DA's office.
Thank you, Supervisor Desmond, and welcome, Thien. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. 175. There have been 175 fentanyl-related deaths in the last year and a half in Sacramento County. That's more than all the gun-related homicides that have occurred in the county during that period of time. 98% of the drugs that have been seized off the streets are counterfeit drugs. The crime lab has analyzed those drugs and found that 98% of those counterfeit drugs contain fentanyl. All it takes is a few grams to kill every single person in this room. Just a few grams of fentanyl. One pill can kill. So we would like, on behalf of the District Attorney's Office, thank Supervisor Rich Desmond and the rest of the entire Board of Supervisors for passing this resolution, recognizing that fentanyl-related deaths is an epidemic and a crisis that is sweeping across not only our city, our county, our state, and our nation. As a result of that, in partnering with County Executive Ann Edwards, Department of Health Services, community-based organizations, and different partners in the community, we will be engaging in a wide-ranging public service campaign to educate public and to educate families about this epidemic. This weekend on Saturday, there will be the first ever Sacramento Fentanyl Safety Fair at the Capitol starting from 11 to 2 a.m. We will have not only service providers, but also mental health and drug services that will be doing and conducting fentanyl and Narcan demonstrations and handing out kits, because one pill can kill. And thank you so much on behalf of the District Attorney's Office and all the partners that we have worked with in order to try to prevent another death from the fentanyl crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Thien. Is there a website where people can go if we wanted to promote that on our websites as county supervisors?
Yes, I will go ahead. Our office will go ahead and send out the information and the flyer to each of your staff so it can be sent out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Before you, please proceed, and then we have some supervisor who'd like to also speak, but you could maybe finish.
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. Would you like to speak? Supervisor Cerna.
Thank you. So first of all, great job, Mr. Desmond, on your first presentation. I think you actually put me to shame in terms of your ability to articulate well the intent of the resolution. I'm really glad you've taken this on as an important subject, not just for your district, but for the entire county. And I appreciate, too, the District Attorney's Office and their activism on making sure that the community is very well educated on the dangers of fentanyl. I would just offer a few invitations or suggestions as well. I think many of you know that my crusade in recent years has really been focused on methamphetamine, but I certainly have not avoided looking at how this county can do a better job enhancing, especially medically assisted treatment for opioid addiction. And to that end, I would encourage, if you haven't already, Supervisor Desmond, I would encourage you to take a look at what types of MAT programs we have locally that are centered around buprenorphine as a very effective way to interrupt the cycle of addiction when it comes to opioids. I've taken the time to do that in my own district, actually spending time in some of the clinics that offer buprenorphine as a very effective means to address a very compelling addiction that we're all very well aware of, but certainly with the advent of fentanyl, it's become even, I think, much more important. In terms of the Narcan, and I know that that's going to be kind of a centerpiece for the Capitol rally that you've mentioned, I would like to suggest, if we aren't already doing this, and this is really directed towards our county executive, is that we ought to look at, again, if we're not doing it already, but we ought to look at making sure that our personnel here in the county administration center, as well as branch center and some of our other county facilities, if they're not trained and have access and currently have a stock of Narcan, that they be trained, that the Narcan be made available, so that we can, as county public servants, have the ability to respond in an emergent way should we encounter people that are involved with a possible life-threatening overdose situation. So I think that's a really important way to be prepared. And again, I just want to thank Supervisor Desmond for being very attentive to this subject, and to the DA's office for your attention as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And Supervisor Desmond, I think we interrupted your presentation, so please proceed.
No, you didn't. I just want to thank all of you also for supporting the resolution, and thank you, Supervisor Cerna. I'm certainly mindful of your leadership in this area and calling attention to the ravages of our methamphetamine crisis and opioid crisis, and want to join you in those efforts any way I can. So thank you for those comments, and I will be out there on Saturday at the event, and I hope to see some of you out there as well. And with that, I will just present this to Thien. Thank you.
Thank you, Thien, for your leadership, and this is extremely important for Sacramento. I personally have people in my district who have, it's not only the young, beautiful people who have taken that one pill who passed away, but it's the families who, over time, can't make sense of it. It's like unbelievable. Just they took it because they had pain, and someone gave them a pill, and that they died. And that's how dangerous fentanyl is. So it's touched all of us, and we really appreciate your leadership in helping fight this battle over fentanyl.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. And thank you, Supervisor Desmond, for your leadership.